Hi, good morning again. I'm just now leaving the Quaker House where I've been staying. Learning a great deal as I hang out in this place. It's been a nice place to rest. It's been very quiet. This is a meeting house where the Quaker community here in Perth, Australia gathers for their worship times and their fellowship. And they've been gracious enough to let me stay here this period of time while I'm here. And I'm very much alone. So I'm getting a lot of quiet time. I have to be honest, though. I come home thoroughly exhausted and unable to... Well, let's see if I can lock this door before I move on. Oh, that didn't do it. I come home thoroughly exhausted and unable really to do a lot of the personal study I'd hoped to do. I brought a lot of work with me, and I'm just too tired to go on to do it. I guess traveling across the world has something to do with that. Yesterday I lost my voice, and well, I think I have it back today. I'm glad of that. As I walk, I'm going to share with you a few things. One of the things I just learned about here at the Quaker House is that Ben Kingsley was a Quaker. So was, of course, we know William Penn was, but Herbert Hoover was a Quaker. And did you know Judi Dench was a Quaker? Very interesting. Joan Baez? Yeah. Anyway, little trivia for you. There's the house I'm staying in. And I'm walking toward the city that way. And it's about a half-hour walk every morning, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Yesterday we spent quite a bit of time talking about the discipleship of nations. What exactly does that mean? That task is something we have to do carefully in the past, and actually quite a lot in the present. Both the church on the right and on the left, and there are church expressions on both sides, have had a kind of triumphal view of what it means to be the church and what it means to change the world. So today we're going to be discussing James Davidson Hunter's book, To Change the World. But before we did that, yesterday we spent some time discussing what is a discipled nation. And we began to define that, and we've got quite a bit of text thrown down, and I'm a part of a subcommittee today that's going to be actually taking on this audacious task, which we must take with humility and ask ourselves, what does a discipled nation look like? It is not a completed work. Just as you, as a disciple of Jesus, are not a completed work, you're in process. So we need to be saying that about nations as well, that they are moving toward, they are changing, they are making progress in every arena of society, every aspect of society, and also every grouping of society. That meaning from the individual to the family to various associations, including businesses and church gatherings and hospitals and newspapers, voluntary associations, smaller groupings, those koinonia, actually, those fellowships, the smallest part of a society that includes every aspect of society. And then there's the city, the polis, and then ultimately the ethnos, the nation. And we're discussing how to describe it in ways that is not limiting, is not condemning, is not triumphalist, and is hopeful, and gives room for definition beyond the individual salvations and beyond this notion that every person is going to come to the knowledge of the truth. That's in fact not the case. So when we look in the book of Revelation, we see that that he will be their light. In other words, even in the redeemed new world, we will need God's light, of course. And the leaves of the trees will be for the healing of the nations. In other words, there's still need for healing among the nations. Whatever that healing means, it could be some kind of restoration or reconciliation, unresolved conflicts. Who knows? But it seems that we need to welcome the notion that we'll be in process even in the new heaven and the new earth. That we will learn new songs, so education will be part of our existence. And so looking to that ultimate destiny will affect the way that we do our ministries and our teaching, our discipling, our modeling, our doing church. All of these things will be affected by these words that we throw down to describe what it means to disciple a nation. So I'm going to sign off. That's enough for today, and we'll get more into it tomorrow. It's really good to spend this time with you, and I look forward to it tomorrow. Thanks for your prayers and your concern and for following me as I'm on this journey. This is day 3 of the Perth leadership meetings for the University of the Nations, and it's the 3rd day of the think tank. We have one more day of think tank, then we go on to larger meetings. So we'll talk again soon. Thanks. Bye.